Hi DBS community, welcome back to another deck profile here with Chris, and I know we're getting closer to set 16, so I wanted to bring you guys a deck that I have been playing at a few of my locals. I think I've played it at maybe 3 or 4 locals. Also just testing a lot with it online. I feel like King Vegeta, very, very powerful leader still, even through the errata, and it's something that I may invest in playing at some point. I think this is generically one of just the best red leaders for Saiyans. Both sides are actually very, very powerful here. So we'll go over the leader first, and I'll go over the side deck that I've been playing at my locals. Hasn't really changed too much, except for maybe one card, depending on which store that I'm going to, just because there are different metas. So King Vegeta, on this side you get to play the field spell, which we do actually play the Young Invader's field spell, which we'll go over afterwards. Not really much to go over on that card. When this card swings, you look up top 5 for any mono red Saiyan, energy cost 5 or less. So that's generically the entire deck. Also, a lot of your side deck cards are also mono red Saiyan, so you can search out almost everything. And very cool that you can essentially just search out your super combos, right? Being able to consistently see your super combos. I believe this is, if you minus the field spell, I think it's a 50 card deck. But just being able to search out super combos, being able to search out anything realistically in the deck is just incredibly value. And you can awaken early if your opponent's at 4 life, or if you're at 4 life, you are restand 1, draw 1. And if you're not at 5 life, when you awaken, you strike down the 5 life. So if your opponent decides to keep you at 8 life, because they just don't want to swing at you, that's fine. You get them down to 4, and then you can just awaken and then take 3 cards from your life. Very, very powerful. On this side, all of your Saiyans with 500 power have their combo cost reduced by 1. When you swing, you draw, and whenever you neg a battle card, whenever a battle card is power is reduced, you get to when one of your opponent's cards power is reduced. This also works for unisons and leaders. Your leader then can neg a battle card by 10, and there's some combinations in here where you basically can just kill battle cards off. I consider it the red version of Mecha Frieza. Considering Mecha Frieza has that effect on it, or did, where whenever you tap something, you can use your leader effect to tap something else. It just gives you just more generic good value. So Young Invaders, obviously it got errated, so every one of these effects has now 1 red cost. The 2 top effects with being able to play out a Young Invader, we do actually play the Young Invaders, but it's not something that you're gonna realistically do all the time. You can play a Young Invader on your opponent's turn when they start, so you have to go first and not use any energy, and then tap 1 to play the Young Invader. The activate main, you can tap 1 to take a life, and then play Young Invader on your board, which could actually be pretty good. It also just allows you to self-awaken. And the bottom effect is the best effect for this field, is just tap 1 red, neg a battle card by 5k. So BMS, East Kai, any other, just really weird battle card, you can just neg it. But also 15k battle cards you can neg too. So you can use this in tangent with your Awaken leader, and you can neg battle cards by 15k and kill them. So it just gives you a 1 energy play that if you don't really want to play anything and you just want to neg something on board, you have no other way of removing it. You just do that, right? Very, very good. So field spell there. We'll go over what the deck is here. So Bardock's crew is going to be the definitely the engine of the deck. So 4 Fascia, 4 Borgos, 3 of the Pride Bardock, and 4 the Chain Attack. I think this is a pretty good ratio for stuff. Shigesh is another card you can possibly add. That's the double strike one. But I think these work pretty well here. So Fascia searches top 5 for a 2-drop unison or a Bardock's crew, which we don't run a 2-drop unison in the main deck. But being able to search out Bardock's crew cards is still very good. Borgos just being a 1-drop, draw 1. Bardock here, whenever you swing, you take a life. And then if you deal damage to your opponent, you restand. Search top 5 and then play a Bardock's crew in active mode, and neither one of those cards can swing, whether this card and the other card can't swing for the turn. Still pretty good though. Being able to play out one of these 2, so you can swing, take a life, restand, play one of these 2, then draw another card, essentially. Very good. And then Chain Attack. This is probably the best one, obviously. All these also have bond except for this Bardock here. So when you have 3 Bardock's crew and or Red Saiyans in play, these 2 gain 11k. This gains 11k in crit. And when you swing at this guy, you neg a battle card by 4k for every red Saiyan and or Bardock's crew in your battle area. So this card also counts as well. So when you swing at something, you're automatically negging 4k. So you have this and this on board. That's 8. This and this is 12. Go on from there, right? So just being able to neg battle cards, which is very good, because this negs before the blocking window. So if you have 2 on board and your opponent, let's say they block with something, they played a token negate, like one of the little 5-cost ones, right? You play this, you swing, they say no negates, and you just use these 2, just neg it. That way they can't block with it. But this engine here is incredibly powerful here. And then we run 2 of the 5-drop, and the 5-drop evolves on top of either one of these Bardocks here for 1 energy. You search top 7, find a Bardock's crew, energy cost of 1, and put it in your drop area. And when this card swings, you play out a 1-drop Bardock's crew, and then you give 2 red Saiyan cards 5k for the turn, which also includes your leader. So you can swing with this, and then play out one of these from the drop area. Preferably, the 2 to play would be these 2 here. If you don't already have them, in, like if you don't have these in the drop, obviously you can play anything. But this being a free draw, and then this being a free crit, this also being a free draw essentially too. But and you could give the card that's being played 5k as well. So like you could play this. And if you already have one on board, you give them both 5k. So now they're both 20k crit, on top of this 20k battle card that has barrier as well. So this is just a good field general. It is unique, which is why we don't run a lot of it. And we search out our deck so much, we can find this off of, I think Fasha actually can search this card too. Yeah, Fasha can also search this card too. So Fasha and our leader can search this card out. So it's not a huge deal to run too many more. I wish it wasn't unique, but if it wasn't unique, this deck would be even more insane. And just 2 Vegeta Young Invaders. The reason why we run Vegeta is because of the auto effect. So if our opponent leaves this on board, turn 2, if we swing at our leader, this will actually, so whenever you swing at a battle card, so when this is on field, so if this is on your opponent's field, it basically says that if your opponent, when one of your cards are attacked, you give that card 5k, minus 5k for the battle. So when you swing at a Unison, you can give it minus 5k for the battle, and then it's going to be, yeah, so then you just minus it for the battle, right? So if it's like a 5k Unison, you can swing at it. This will take off a marker, and you can swing at it with your whatever you're swinging at, and then minus it by 5k. But being able to like neg a leader, do things like that, it's pretty cool. I don't run switching gears. I actually don't own switching gears, which is probably why I wasn't super invested in running a lot of the Young Invaders. But if I do get switching gears, I do think the Young Invader package could be pretty cool, but I probably wouldn't run Vegeta. I would probably run Broly. The warping effect is pretty cool. The 5-drop Broly is pretty powerful as well. So I think if I were to do it, it would change the deck, obviously, exponentially. But I think this one's probably the best one to run, honestly. This, like I said, I may just switch it to the Broly, just so if my opponent wants to play anything, they have to warp a card from their hand for the turn, which just makes it a little awkward for them, you know. So, but yeah, I'll get 2 of those. 2 Legends Personified. This card's also great. I wish it wasn't unique. But it's a 1-drop. You draw a card. If you have Bond 3, it gains 21 power till the end of your opponent's turn, so it becomes a 25k battle card, which is really, really powerful. You can also run Heartfelt Plea in this deck to basically, you use this, you swing, and you sack it off Heartfelt Plea. It's pretty cool. You also can, I don't think you can search it off of your leader. Yeah, you can't search it, so it has to be mono red, so it's not incredibly good, but it's just a cool little thing that you can do. This is a very, very good card, though, just being a 1-drop, and activate your bond for your other cards, and also bond for this card. 25k power for 1 energy. It's pretty solid. Now we have the life force of the deck, which is going to be Jiren. This is the ideal turn 3 play, sometimes turn 4 if you have to, but this card here is just absolutely incredible. So it's 20k plus 1, you give a double strike. Minus 3, which people forget about, is you minus a battle card by 25k ignoring barrier. And it is very hard to stick battle cards against this deck, because between the auto, which says when your opponent plays a battle card or a Unison, you may choose that card to give it minus 10k for the turn. So you can choose a Unison that's a 20k, just minus it by 10. If your opponent plays a 1-drop Unison that's under 10k power, you can basically, they'll play it, you'll just neg it, and then it'll die. So like your opponent plays like let's say a Demigra for 1 energy, you can use this to minus it by 1, and then it'll just die. They can't actually take a life for it, so it's pretty cool. But then this also triggers your leader effect. So any battle card that's being played 20k or less, you actually can just minus it with this, and then minus it with your leader, and then kill it. This you have to activate when a card's minus. You don't have to. You can't actually choose. This you can choose. So you just kind of wait till the right moment when your opponent's wasting the most energy to play something. Then you can just use these two to just make something by 20. Now obviously we run Yamcha as well, so you have another target for it as well. So you can Yamcha. You can Yamcha something, minus it by 15, use this auto, minus it by 10, use this auto, minus it by 10, or just minus multiple things, and now you just kind of remove their board, and now they don't have nearly as many options of things to do. But yeah, the -3 here saves you a lot, because they activate battle, your opponent, like, they're going for game with, let's say, fighting against Fates, or just something, right, and they just combo a bunch of combo costs on top of stuff. Well, if it doesn't increase its current power, the card's power is still the original power. So if they combo up to 85k double strike on a fighting against Fates, technically the card is still 25k, because its actual power is not being increased. You just -3 and then just kill it, and it's kind of done from there, right? Very, very powerful card. Like it definitely kind of makes the deck really work. Next we have 4 super combos, just Raditz. It's searchable, which is also the best part. So I think every game I played this deck, except for maybe 1 or 2, like total just with playing it, I've seen at least 3 of my super combos. So yeah, being able to see super combos is nice. 2 Broly Crown, probably could run more. I don't think it's a problem. At least running 2 though is probably the minimum, but running more, this card's great. Just being able to rip stuff from your opponent's hand. It's searchable. It's, you know, it's good. Love Broly Crown. 1 Kaioken, and then 2 Royal Evolution. So Kaioken's good just for being able to neg through barrier. If we don't want to use our minus effect on our Jiren, just being able to kill something. Also, just being able to play this for 3, and then just killing an entire board. Especially if they're going wide, we can use this to just kind of mop up stuff. Vegeta is cool. Vegeta, when your opponent has more than 3 energy, you combo with this to tap a red. You restand your leader and you give it 5k after the battle. All of its keyword skills are negated, but the auto is not. So if you're on your unawoken side, you can swing, search top 5, restand, goes up to 15, swing again, search top 5. Right? That's really good. So you have the ability to basically draw twice. And on this side, your auto draw is not once per turn, so you can swing, draw, restand, swing, draw. It's pretty good. The bottom effect, actually, I've never actually even read the bottom effect. Activate battle if your leader is mono red. You choose this card from your hand and discard it. You choose one of your opponent's battle cards and negative by 10 for the battle. So technically, this also could be like a mini Frieza's Death Ball. You can combo. You can tap 1 red, neg it by 10, and then use your leader effect to neg it by 10 if you haven't already used it. So this card actually just has tons of utility. Also, they're both searchable, so that's also good as well. 1 Frieza's Death Ball. This will be coming out because I only owned 1. This will probably come out for if I can find it here. I'll just show you guys now since we're getting close to the release anyways. I don't actually think I have it in this deck. I know I have the normal one. I don't have my SPR on me, but it'll probably come out for this, the Realm of the Gods RAR. Just the fact that I can also give this pump to my Jiren as well. That's the biggest thing, is being able to give the pump to the Jiren. Offensively, you can neg something by 30, which will trigger your leader effect to neg something by 10 again. The defensive play though is you draw a card and you give the card 5k extra. So this becomes a 15k draw 1 on defense, and then a -30k, -40k on offense, and a +10k. So this will definitely be being used instead of the Frieza's Death Ball. It's just not set 16 yet, so I can't use it. 2 Testing the Ops, very good. Since we go down to 5, when we awaken, this will be live. Just really, really good negate. Probably the MVP is Imposing Presence. This card snapped. So this it's either a 1 cost, you neg something by 10k during barrier, and then every time they attack with a card, they have to minus it by 5k. Or you can pitch a card at 3 life with this to do it for free. But this will trigger your leader, and you can minus something by 10. So generally, like if your opponent, especially if you have Jiren on board, right? So what your opponent will probably do is they'll probably try to, work around activating your leader effect, right? So they can swing the leader, you can minus it, and then for the rest of the turn, everything they attack with is going to get minus. You can use your leader effect and the minus something. And then let's say they play a battle card then, okay? Then you can Jiren minus it by 10, and then it's automatically going to go down by 15 because they're going to attack, right? It stops so much plays. You also have the Yamcha play, right? So being able to like Yamcha something as well, it makes your opponent's sequencing very, very awkward. They have to start, they have to find a way to play around. And then also you have the -3, right? So like you can almost kill everything that they're going to play between these two and your leader effect. It's just impossible generally to get through this deck. Even if you tap out, if you have 1 energy up, you can just Imposing Presence, and now you're just like, okay, cool, I'm safe realistically for the turn. They're not going to be able to kill me. Very, very good card. I actually probably should get a 4th one. We have 1 Kai. We're going for game. Obviously, Jiren has double strike, so that's our big win ticket there. But being able to just combo in with this just allows you to make anything lethal. 2 secret IDs. I actually think this deck actually probably needs Fighting Against Fates instead. Secret ID, we generally keep the board pretty clean with our leader effect and stuff, so I don't actually think I need this card in here. I think I'll probably end up going to Fighting Against Fates, just to maybe be a little more aggressive. Main boss monster is going to be Divine Presence or Devon Presence, depending on which content creator you're talking about. This card here, you combo 2 red cards from your hand. I do not think that's mono red, right? No, just 2 red battle cards from your hand, and you tap 2 red to play it. So it's kind of like a 2-drop arrival. You play this, it's 20k dual attack deflect. When it comes down, you give any red card 5k for the turn. So you can give your Unison a buff, you can give your leader a buff, another battle card, or buff this. And then when it swings, it gives itself 5k for the turn. So then it can go up to 30k dual attack. It cannot be removed on your turn. So opponent can't kill it. There's no God Sealing. They can't boo Unison, and it's gonna swing. You do have to search your deck though. For a skillless, which I don't run skillless in this deck. If there was a Bardock's Crew skillless, I probably would actually run it. It would just give you some interesting combo power, but I don't run it. But this, you do search your deck, so you can actually search your deck to see if you have any more Young Invaders in there, just see if you have your secret rare, blah, 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 just some things like that. But being a 30k swing for 2 energy is incredibly powerful. Being able to swing this down on defense too, because you actually can rival this on defense, give your leader a 5k bump, making him 20, which is pretty irritating. But turn 4, turn 5, you can, among everything else you have on the board, probably you can rival out 2 of these, and that's generally going to be game if they don't have a floodgate. And then last 2 cards here, you have New Ruler, Secret ID. I think Secret ID's not Secret ID. It's kind of like Secret ID. Supreme Kai, New Ruler, very, very good. Free double striker, wipe your board. So like I said, because I'm probably rolling this, I could probably take this out for Fighting Against Fates. It's probably the biggest change I would make. Honestly, I think I played Secret ID maybe twice, so I don't even know if I really needed the Overwhelm. But having the option of being able to Fighting Against Fates probably would be a little bit better. So it's probably a good change. So side deck. Side deck, we had 2 Hidden Ambition. This is for green and blue. Green because of Dormant. Dormant's a really, really annoying card. Finn also plays I'd actually have to look at the Finn card. I think Absorption of Doom, which is the free Finn negate, I think it's also a 1 cost that they can play for free. So this also would hit that as well. Basically, this hits any 1 cost extra card negate that is that's being played for free. So Sparking negates as well, so Shocking Death Ball, D-Magic, After Image, Imposing Presence, things like that, right? So you can play it for 1, it's just a counter. The bottom effect, you can play 3-drop Vegeta's Lineage, which we don't do. We don't have that effect in here. But it also is searchable as well because it does a red Saiyan card. So very, very cool little side deck piece. 2 Spirit Mentor. This is to get rid of Sin. Sin Shinron is very irritating. If they put down the 3-drop, the 9-drop, we can use this to neg it by 30k. Very powerful. Also searchable as well, so it's pretty cool little tech. It's also like negating at 30, and then your leader can neg something again, so you can kill stuff that's 40k. And then he's also a barrier deflect, so he's going to come down. 2 Piccolo Unisons, so this is searchable off Fascia, and if we're playing it in more of an aggro matchup, or if we need to draw more, we can side out something, maybe side out a Jiren, go down to 3 Jiren and run 2 of these, and then keep this on board for most of the game. We also can run Yamcha in here too. That's why Yamcha's in here instead of Videl. I think the Videl's better, but having the ability to side deck this and then also use Yamcha still with it is still really good wherever Yamcha is down there. Just being able to plus and just, you know, consistently just pump stuff. You also have a cool little trick where you can, if you have the 5-drop Bardock on board and you pump one of your little guys to 20, or if you pump the Son Goku guy, right? So it's a cool little tech. I did it. I've done it a few times. It's not like super consistent, but you can use the -2, I believe. I think I make sure I wasn't cheating. Yeah. So you can -2 on this to choose one of your cards under 3K, and then KO every battle card that's power is equal to or less than. So since he goes to 25, if you use the Bardock to bump him up to 30, you can -2 and kill almost every card in the game. Because you're going to choose this card and it's going to make everything by 30. And then you can also rejuvenate off of it as well, which is pretty cool. 2 Topo. It never came in, I don't think ever, but just having the Floodgate active is pretty cool. So since they don't main deck a Floodgate, they probably wouldn't even suspect it, generally speaking. But just having a Floodgate, I think, is just pretty good to still have. Card I think most red decks should be teching now is Resolved Renewed. Battle card that pops something being played 3K or less, or 3 power or less. I'm sorry, whatever it's called. Yeah, 3 energy or less. And it comes out for 1 if you have 3 or more energy. So Floodgates like Robotic Riposte, Heroic Prospect, Oceanus, things like that. You just want to Topo, you just want to pop them. You just play this and this goes right to the drop, so the effect will never actually trigger. 3 Deborah. Now this is the card that I changed in depending on where I go, because I have certain locals that play lots of green. I have certain locals who play lots of blue. So when I go to the ones that play a lot of green, I side in the Deborah. When I go to the one that plays a lot of blue, I do the Raditz instead. Since hand destruction sometimes is a thing, like I said, at particular locals it's a thing. At other ones they don't even play it. So at the certain ones we'll play Deborah. At the other ones, when I know that they're playing blue, we do Raditz. Raditz being a +1, and then also any deck that wants to restand energy using non-leader skills on their turn. I'm sorry, non-awakened skills on their turn. They got a crit of life, or crit an energy. Sorry, this one's crit an energy, right? Yeah, they crit. I get to choose when their energy put in the drop. So Soul Striker's a big thing at one of my locals, so we just side this in. Also, this is searchable since it is a red Saiyan, so it's a pretty cool card. The last 2, this was a last minute addition, but Teamworks of Universe 7. So you guys have probably never seen this card before. You're probably like, what the heck is this card? So this is good, and I think it's going to be good going into next set against yellow. So the biggest thing about this card is why we run it is that its permanent says this card skill cannot be negated in any area, right? So when you're playing this card, your opponent can't cooler you. Technically they can cooler, but the effect will still trigger. The negate will still happen, right? The counterattack says negate the attack and then choose any energy. Choose any of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost totaling up to 1, and those cards get minus 10k for the turn. So what's cool about this is that blue-yellow is going to be a huge thing next set with Zamasu Wish, right? You also have blue decks who will probably be playing a Boonie in some aspect, right? Being able to use this and then neg all of their tokens since they have no energy cost, and just neg them by 10 is very, very powerful. So the Goku Black deck, which plays all the blockers, you can play this, negate the attack of the Goku Black, and then just KO all the blockers. Very, very powerful card. Also, black matchups. You can negate an attack and then, neg a True Fighting Spirit. If your opponent swings with a little 1-drop double strike guy, right? The auto for them to take a life and gain 10k doesn't actually happen until after the counterattack window. So you can actually counter and then just neg it before they actually can take a life. I think they can still take a life because the auto will trigger, but he won't be able to gain the life, so the card will die since this actually takes place first. Again, like I said, you can't negate this, so Golden Ape, the blue can't hit it, and then Cooler can't actually do anything. So this is actually just a really cool little tech card to run in. I do suspect yellow blue is going to be very, very popular in most of my local scenes, whether it's Soul Striker or Zamasu or whatever. This card's I think gonna be very, very good. So, but that's what I have for you guys today. Changes outside of the UI extra card. I don't actually really know. I mean, Koitsukai is also a very, very good card. I think doing After Image actually would be a pretty cool card to run. Obviously, you have cards like Koitsukai as well. But I don't really mean, none of this stuff actually doesn't matter because you're not really running it from the new set. But I think it's probably it, honestly. That and like I said, the Ultra Instinct card is probably really the only card that this deck needs. I think the deck's pretty solid as it is. Doesn't really need any extra spice. You just kind of run with what you have right now, and I think the deck's going to be pretty popular for next few sets. So, but that's what I have for you guys today. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully you guys are getting excited for set 16 just as I am, and we can start pumping out some set 16 content. So thank you guys again for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.